Hey everyone, DFA here, welcome back to the channel, and today we are continuing our journey through the American light cruiser line with the Cleveland. So I've already published 3 videos on American light cruisers. The first one was an engagement guide on the Dallas and Black Dallas. I've used the Brooklyn to showcase how you can use your concealment to do very well with that kind of ships, and finally I did publish a playbook for American light cruisers using or featuring the Helena, the premium tier 7 cruiser. And so essentially those are kind of prerequisites to master before you enter the Cleveland, and so we're simply going to be applying the playbook with that game. It's actually my first battle in the Cleveland, so obviously that was a couple that was some time ago, but the Atlantico was already in the game, and that was kind of the big scarecrow at the time. So we're simply going to go through the playbook and we'll see where it takes us. But let's take a look at its stats first. And here we have it next to a couple of other tier 8 light cruisers and the Wichita, and immediately we notice that it's a pretty complete support package. You get AA, really good AA, sonar and radar, that's really nice. The only ship with that combination at the tier. Survivability is pretty decent, concealment is decent, the maneuverability is actually pretty good with that thing, only the top speed sucks at 31 knots. So yeah, don't engage into complex maneuvers with that thing, because it will take you forever to catch up with the action. You will see that in the gameplay a little bit later. In terms of guns, it's also pretty good news. You get 12 152mm guns. The range, it's not great, 10.8, it's one of the smallest at tier 8, but you do make up for that with amazing HE DPM. I think it's second or third best at the tier in terms of DPM, so only the Mogami is doing a little bit more and the San Diego, but you know, the Mogami, it's not even comparable in terms of support capabilities. It is just a damage dealer, so that's not bad. Fire per minute, it's also not bad at 4.4. Firing HE becomes a viable strategy with that thing, and the AP DPM is amazing as well. In fact, when I look at the AP DPM, let me take a look at the other tier 8 cruisers. This is actually the best at the tier. Yeah, it is the best at the tier, so that's pretty amazing. And finally, we also get secondaries on top of that. So when you manage to get into secondaries range, you do have the best firepower at the tier. Simply put, no torpedoes as you would expect. And the AA, it's really good as well. You get the AA2 on top of that, so you will be scaring CVs with that thing. I guarantee you that. Yeah, so yeah, it's a pretty complete package, but there is a catch. On top of the abysmal range of the guns, the shell arcs, it's also not ideal, and you're unable to engage with anything smaller than you past 8 kilometers. But that's actually not a big deal, because you do have the radar. And again, we're simply going to follow the playbook. We get detected by a DD, we activate the radar immediately, 2 of them pop up on the map. We activate the sonar and we start trashing them, and you see that you, even after 5 kilometers, you have to lead quite a lot to be hitting an Akizuki, which is not the smallest, not the most nimble target. So concretely engaging DDs, I would say, further away than 8 kilometers with that thing, it is, yeah, you're kind of wasting your time, to be fair. And it's kind of the same with light cruisers, so you really have to force those mid-range to short-range engagements. Luckily, you do have amazing concealment, amazing mobility, well, at least amazing maneuverability. Yeah, and certainly a lot of things going your way to be surviving those engagements. You see, it's absolutely no problem dodging torpedoes, except that the torpedo hit detection in that game is an absolute dog shit, and I did dodge the last one and still managed to get hit. So engaging at 9-10 kilometers, I'm kind of wasting my time here. Look how much I have to lead that Akizuki, and he's being very kind with me. He's moving in a nice straight line, but yeah, it's just a waste of time. You really have to use your concealment to get close to the action, and actually you don't want to leave to be too far from the action as well, because it's going to take me forever to get back into the game. But at least I was able to show you how you can open up with Cleveland. Don't be afraid to rush into caps, even if there is no DD scouting for you, you will come out on top. You do have all the tools for that. Unfortunately, there is no CV in that game, but that's actually something that you're kind of looking for with the Cleveland. You get that amazing amount of AA charges, amazing AA firepower. And it is kind of what, for me, makes that ship very, very special, and probably the best tier 8 Tech 3 light cruiser, and maybe one of the best Tech 3 cruisers at all at tier 8. Is you can really go anywhere across the map. You will always have something in your toolkit that will allow you to come out on top, providing you don't do what I'm doing now, which is trying to engage outside of your normal range. You see, it's not going very well. Past 10 kilometers, you're probably wasting your time on anything else than battleships. But yeah, I mean, you shouldn't be afraid of being isolated with that thing. You can actually also engage with islands. We're going to do that in a couple of seconds, because yes, there is an Atlantico in that game, and it wasn't nerfed at that time. So it was still the shit show that it was even worse than what it is today. And so generally CVs will be leaving you alone. You have your radar to deal with destroyers. You can kite other battleships or use islands if you are not in the open, and that's exactly what I'm doing here. I see the Atlantico coming and I'm immediately positioning myself next to an island, a little bit too close. Ideally I would have to be a little bit further away, and that's when you can actually start hitting these guys as well. So again, typically you are using your AP, I would say 80% of the time, but when you do have one of these big, fat, very well protected battleships, then you switch to HE. Using HE at range with that thing becomes an option as of tier 8, because the fire chance is actually pretty decent. But do not neglect your AP. American AP, it's one of the best kept secrets in the game. It's amazing, and you've seen a little bit earlier in the stats sheet that you have the best AP DPM at the game. It's just hard to be putting those shells on targets. But yeah, and anything bigger than you can engage at maximum range. It should be fine. There's absolutely no worry. Those are typically not nimble enough to be dodging your shells. And you see that I'm not even moving, because that Atlantico is busy with the Friesland in front of us. If he decides to focus us, we will simply reposition behind the island and we will be safe again. I'm also not super worried. There you go, we got him on triple fire, that's amazing, thanks to the Friesland as well. And yeah, I'm also not worried too much about the battle cruiser. It's a Zeton right in front of me, because I bow tanking to him, and that ship is actually fairly, it does have a fairly small profile, so bow tanking is certainly an option with it. I'm full HP for the moment, so yeah, you see it's kind of hard to get hit when you're bow tanking to targets. But yeah, that Zeton, yeah, there's a Rhone right in front of me, so the Rhone is going to tank for me, and I'm going to be able to engage that Zeton as well. So I'm simply following the playbook. I'm going to put all the links in the comment section below, because that's really a super simple thing to play. Yeah, again, within 6 kilometers it's fine. Using your smoke, I use my radar, and it's game over for you, buddy. Main guns, secondaries, goodbye. Yeah, so Cleveland, I've called that review old but gold, because yeah, it hasn't been touched in the game, and it's still absolutely amazing. To be fair, tier 8, it's kind of Tech 3 cruiser heaven after tier 7, which is kind of premium cruiser heaven. Most of the Tech 3 cruisers at tier 8 are very good, if not competitive, and this is certainly one of the best ones. So yeah, it's an easy 3 stars out of 3 for me, probably the best ship of the line. I will tell you why when I cover the Seattle and the Worcester a bit later on, so stay tuned for those reviews. And yeah, it's simply so versatile. You can do everything you want with it. Yeah, it doesn't have smoke, but it does not really need it when you have so many things going for you. Such an amazing DPM, really good AA, good maneuverability in combines. It's everything you want in a ship, and we finish the bastard right before the end of the game. Yeah, so yeah, old but gold indeed, absolutely fantastic ship, and I hope you've enjoyed that review, learned a couple of interesting things as well. I will surely be posting the link to the playbook in the comment section below, and I will be seeing you soon for the review of the other ships of the line. In the meantime, stay safe, take care. That was DFA signing out. Bye bye.